So the question is, if you don't want war, why shoot down a drone and invite American retaliation? This is a key question, and the excuse is because the American drone, the surveillance drone, was inside Iranian airspace. But this is no excuse. Iran could have gone through the escalation ladder, fired warning shots, maybe told the Americans or conveyed to them that we've seen your drone, you could just take it out from our airspace. This was a surveillance drone close to international waters. It's not like an Air Force jet going inside Iran proper to target an important installations. Iran was not, and the IRGC had the option of really not shooting down this drone, but they chose to shoot down this drone and invite a limited American retaliation and conflict with the United States. Why? This is a very important question. And it seems that Khamenei, who is the de facto president of Iran, and the IRGC, which is the de facto army, because the real army, of course, has been sidelined since 1979, both of these key players really do want a limited conflict with the United States and possibly a limited war. Why? It's important to understand one key observation, and that is, at this very moment, the Iranian people are strong. They're angry at their government. They're angry at the performance of the mullahs in the last 4 decades. They want some sort of change. So the public is really very strong, and we've seen that over the last 1 year through all these protests throughout Iran. So the public is strong. The government, the regime, is very weak because internally and externally because of these sanctions. Now, if there is a limited conflict, this would help the regime strengthen its grip on power, and these sanctions would weaken the Iranian public. And this goes, of course, to benefit the Khameneists who are in power in Iran since 1979. So this is a key point, and this is probably one explanation why the IRGC and Khamenei being the de facto president and really not Hassan Rouhani, and the IRGC would actually invite American retaliation. So it's very clear now, there is an interest that Iran has. I mean, despite the Iranian Foreign Ministry telling everybody that they have no interest in a war, and it's true because war would not help Iran, war would not help Iranian people, but a limited war would actually help Khamenei and the IRGC strengthen their grip and power and weaken the Iranian public. And the Iranian public, of course, remained the biggest threat to the rule of the Khomeineists who are in power since 1979. So the point is right now, if the United States retaliates and gives what Khamenei and the IRGC what they want, which is a limited war or conflict, that would actually help the IRGC and Khamenei. So what can the United States really do? Either to let these sanctions work and see how these sanctions really weaken the Iranian regime and allow the Iranian public or maybe other factions within the regime to force an internal policy change with regards to missiles, the nuclear program, and the use of proxies. If there is to be a limited conflict or war, it should be decisive enough to weaken the IRGC and force again this internal change within the regime itself.